Hi, everyone, and welcome to lesson number 8 in Religion 325. You're going to enjoy these sections. There's just two, but there is a lot of meat here, and so you'll just want to take your time and dig through them and enjoy this experience. I'll give you some ideas on how to help do well on this assignment. Um, Again, you've got to read the sections, read the student manual, and then take your assessment. Most students seem to do well if they just do that and take their time getting through the assessment and don't usually have too many hangups there. The research and writing assignment is where people get themselves into some trouble. Um, I wonder why, because I try to be really clear in these videos, in these weekly webcasts, to help people do well. And so I'm wondering if they're just not watching them. So if you watch this webcast and do what I talk about here, you're going to do great. Remember the word count. Do not forget the word count. Don't dump all of your answers into one long paragraph. You'll just get half credit or less. Um, it's just not good work. It's poor work for college level. But it doesn't need to be something you're going to write a paper to get into medical school either. It's really just kind of a research or a thought paper of some things you've found and demonstrated that you've got some basic understanding. So part of it's laying it out. That seems to be one of the hardest things to do. So let me give you some hints. You read these sections, and then you also need to click on these links down here. Testimony of President Eyring and President Packer and Temple's R. Beacon. Now, after you watch these, you need to and read those sections and have some time to think, then write your paper. From these sections, you're going to need to write five. Well, it says five and four here. Let's just go with four. Okay, four blessings from section 109 and two from section 110. So blessings of the temple in these two. Pretty simple. Make sure you state the verse you find it in, and you should be fine. And blessing. If I were to lay this out very simply, I would write section 109, put it in bold and underline it, and then I'd mark 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, not 5, 4, and then write blessing 1, 2. I put it in there. Blessing. And what the verse you find it in, and to do the same thing in section 110, but then you only need two, so 1 and 2. Now, the little tricky part, because I've not written this very well, and I'll read the instructions. In addition, list at least two requirements from these sections that are essential to receive the promised blessings. For each principle identified in this lesson, state the scripture, principle, and the insight you gained. So, you're going to need to find of the blessings you've got, and so you've found 6. You pick 2, and I would highlight or bold the put in the word requirement, and then I would write down the scripture and make sure it's there, because you should already have anyway, what the principle is, and the insight you've gained. So put that in those, just label them, and I would underline, state the scripture, or just put scripture, principle, and insight. And if you do that and meet the word count requirement, making it really simple and clear. Most of the time people do well in this class using things like bullet lists and numbering lists to answer these things. You're going to do fine. Okay? So if you have any questions, send me an email. But again, let's go with 4 blessings and 2. Okay, from those sections. And make sure you just are clear on how you lay it out. I want you to do great. Okay, teach one another assignments, same as you've done in the past. In this one, there's still a little bit of a hang up that I like to see for your aha post, or your, the reflection assignment. If it's okay as long as you have 2 separate paragraphs. That works great. The students whose work just looks outstanding, title the second paragraph, if it is the reflection paragraph, reflection, and the other one just call it teach one another, and you should be okay. Again, you got your discussion board posts to do. First one's due by Wednesday, Idaho time, midnight, and then make sure you responded twice at least. So it's pretty simple. Again, I wish they would have labeled these assignments a little bit differently, because teach one another and teach one another probably ought to be labeled something else, because there are these separate assignments. But I think everybody's pretty well got the handle on that. Again, when it's this teach one another, that you dump in the Dropbox assignment with the reflection post, it would be nice if a person just wrote teach one another and then labeled A, B, and C. Make sure C is more than one sentence or you won't get full credit. So it's got to be 2 or 3 sentences of substantial description of what you talked about. If you do that, man, you're going to do great. And if you have questions, let me know. Hope you are happy and healthy wherever you might be on this wonderful earth. See ya.